Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Off the Top. I'm your host, Anthony Bonet, and joining me for this episode is Cherie Chick?
Yes.
Cherie Chick, across from me from the table. Cherie, how are you?
I'm doing good today. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm always doing great when it's time to record an episode.
That's good. I like the energy.
Oh yeah, I hope that you use my energy. I am an energy bank, just waiting to be siphoned off.
Yes, I'm trying to absorb all that power and energy and transmit it as well.
Cherie, tell us, everybody at home, a little bit about yourself. What do you do here at the agency? What's your thing?
Yeah, my name is Cherie Chick. Like Anthony mentioned, I am a third-year telecommunication major specializing in media and society, and I also major in Spanish. At the agency, I'm a client success operations manager. That meaning I manage all the account supervisors, project managers, basically helping them with training, assisting them with their professional development, things like that, helping with some resourcing. But on the other side, I do the business development team, mostly working with our accounts director, Mark. And then with that, I help with a lot of like client pitches and then creating a lot of different sort of documents that support our pitches, like case studies, marketing materials, infographics, things like that. It's just like a wheel that goes running and running all the time. The new biz team is hectic, but it's my passion and I really like doing it, and I have a great team that supports me as well.
That's great. I love, I really find inspiration all the things that you do and what New Biz does, because New Biz, I mean, that's you guys are keeping the clients coming.
Yeah.
We're done with one client. Well, no, we have another one coming in, and it's even bigger than the last client that we had before.
Exactly. Sometimes it just all comes in at once, without like any warning. Suddenly the client's just like, I want to start right now, and then we're just like scrambling to like get the team together, but then at the end of the day is about the experience that we can offer to other members and making sure that we're hitting on different industries and having clients of different industries, so everybody would get like a good experience like at the end of the day, which is what matters the most.
For everybody else at home, moving forward, Off the Top is a podcast where students from the agency at UF discuss an eclectic set of topics for your and our entertainment and enrichment. Audio versions go up every other Friday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or you can watch the video version on YouTube. Hello. See, if you were on YouTube, you would have seen that Cherie and I just waved. But if you're not on YouTube, then you missed out. Sorry. If you like hearing us in your ear holes, please make sure to like, give high ratings, subscribe, etc., etc. That is what keeps the mics and the lights on around here. So for the rest of the format of the show, Cherie and I, we came with two different topics. Cherie has one thing that she wants to talk about. I have another thing that we want to talk about. To decide who goes first, I have this pouch of dice. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take out my trusty 20-sided die, and we are going to take sides. Take sides in this debate.
Okay.
On this die. So there's 20 sides. Mm-hmm. One of us will take 1 through 10. The other one will take 11 through 20.
Okay.
And if it lands in that range, then whoever picked that range goes first.
Okay.
Which range would you like to be?
I'll be 1 to 10.
1 through 10. I'll be 11 through 20.
Okay.
Do you want to roll?
No.
No? Okay. I'll roll. 13. So I go first.
Okay.
I go first. All right. So it's fortuitous because I think this goes well with what we were talking about in the opening with New Biz, because I want to take the audience a little bit behind the scenes on the recent Disney pitch that we did. So you and a great team of people got together a business pitch for Disney, and y'all killed it. Yeah. We're going to be having some business with Disney coming in soon. Mm-hmm. That's crazy to hear. Y'all are superstars. So I guess I want to start from at the very top and then kind of narrow down. What do you know what brought Disney in? Like how did that relationship start? What brought the two sides together at first?
Yeah, for sure. So this is very interesting, actually. We have a UF alumni that works with Disney, particularly, I think right now she works with ESPN on like HR and recruiting and things like that. And her name is Diana. And then she heard about the agency and she really likes what we do. So with that, she basically start reaching out to Mark and also the J School in general to see if there are like collaboration opportunities and things like that. And then particularly she worked with the department Disney advertising sales. So she just wanted to help us build like a relationship between UF and the place that she's working with. So she came to Mark and Olivia and tried to say, hey, like we're really interested. Can we try to see what you can do? And then she also let the president of Disney advertising sales know about the whole program, and then said that there might be some areas that the agency can help Disney advertising sales with. And then with that, we just move forward with it. So Disney worked out like that. And then I just got to know about it like a bit later because they had some very initial conversations with just like the professional staff. And then Mark just like came to me and told me we need to do a pitch for Disney. Yeah.
And what goes through your mind when Mark comes to you? You're like, hey, we need to do this, and you're gonna be leading it.
I was excited, of course. Like I really wanted to do more pitches and try to lead the team to do more pitches. So, and naturally with like a big name like Disney coming to mind, like everybody just like goes crazy. Everybody's so excited about the opportunity. So I was very excited, but at the same time I was really nervous. Mark just like gave me the background information of like what happened and who these people are. And he was like, okay, so we have to create a pitch now. And then I was still like a bit lost. I'm like, okay, what do we have to do? What information we have to put? What are they looking for? I was still like thinking and scrambling. And then I asked Mark and Olivia like tons of questions about like what's needed, what should the format be and things like that. So like I don't feel like as lost. But then they told me like really early on, like by the time they told me there's still like a month until the pitch. Uh-huh. But actually we only have like 3 weeks because considering there was like spring break in between and actually right before the week of the pitch. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, like I really have to like have this game plan down and figure out how we're going to move this process moving forward. So like after annoying Mark and Olivia a bunch of times, just clearing everything up just to make sure I got everything from the conversation that I wasn't at. And then I just start thinking about building a team that would support me in the process and try to like just go from there. Man,
I can't imagine the kind of pressure that you were that you must have been feeling, because I a little bit from my perspective, like from the outside looking in, I remember I was sitting at the conference table in the garage and I was talking, just meeting with Melissa on last episode, project coordinator of the podcast team. We were just talking about podcast things, just getting things together, getting things ready, whatever. And we're sitting there typing, and then everybody else at the table just kind of goes quiet, because at the same time there was, I think it was your first meeting between the Disney pitch team and Mark going on at the table on the other side of the room, in the middle of the room. And so everybody just kind of quieted down, because we heard Mark saying, that all these high-ranking people at Disney were going to be there at the pitch, and that there were going to be all these opportunities with all these different properties and different things and whatever. And that was a cool moment. That was like, I knew that everybody in that room, it doesn't matter what they were doing, they were listening in on that conversation. It was like, what that's happening. What's happening? What's happening right now?
Yeah, for sure. When I first try to recruit a team, I always try to have different people and give opportunities to different people. So I did send out a big message, and I don't think I've gotten that many reactions ever in the agency chat on Slack. Everybody, it just blew up, and everybody was like, I want to join the team. I want to join the team. But then at the same time, while I really wanted everybody to be on the team, we also had to limit the amount of people, and then kind of selectively pick who to be on the team, just because like some of them are seniors and then they might not have a chance to actually work with Disney ad sales when they come in. So I just also took that into consideration. But I just felt like how excited like everybody was when they heard that there was Disney, and then Mark was like explaining everything and things like that. And I had a really great team. Like the energy was like really high. Like they were like really active and giving ideas, and I know like even there was like something I could not figure out, like I have a team with me and then they would help me along the way. And that's to me very important, like having like the team to just support you and just things like that.
Who was on the team? Let's shout out some names. Let's give some recognition here.
Yeah, for sure.
Who was on the dream team?
So the dream team,
yeah,
right there. We have the project manager, who was Kara Stella, amazing project manager. And then we have some like research people, which is like Jenna. Even she's an ops manager now. She was research based. Jenna, Bianca, Ginny, I think was the research people. And then we have media supervisor Summerlin, also great, and she helped us with some like social listening, background research and things like that. And then we have amazing copywriters, Michael and Bella.
Michael Weinberg, a favorite of the podcast.
Yeah. They were amazing as well. And finally, like I think the magic makers, I like to call them magic makers because graphic designers like just amaze me all the time. We have Olivia Burgess, and Ella, who was on the team. Yeah.
So what in total then was the time frame of this from the time that Diana came in and expressed interest to the time that the pitch meeting happened? How long was that? And can you speak to the kind of the waves and phases of what it took to get this up and running?
Right. I vaguely remember like the timeline before, like prior to the 4 weeks that like before that I heard about the pitch, but I remember hearing it like maybe early February or like even in January, that like Mark was like, because every week we try to like keep ourselves updated on what are the conversations that are going on, who are the people that we're tracking down to try to target for new biz. And then Mark was like, oh, we might have a chance to work with Disney, but it's still like in the conversation because they're still trying to figure out with the college itself. So like I didn't think it would actually be just like agency focused. I thought it would be more like UF focused. We would work with the J school on something and then work with Disney advertising sales. But when the time came around like mid-February, Mark was like, oh, so Disney want the agency to do a pitch. And that's crazy, right? And then actually I think I missed out a really like important point, is that even though they might have been looking for us to do the work, but the most important thing is they were looking for people who they can just hire straight out of graduation. So what they wanted was just using the work itself for our students, for like everybody at the agency to show their capabilities, and then get trained by Disney ad sales so that they can just hire and create that talent pipeline for them at the end of the day. So like what I said, I heard stuff about it really early on about that, but I didn't think that we were going to do a pitch. Then around mid-February, Mark was like, we have to do a pitch, and it's going to be like a month later. So like at that point, we were like, sometimes like the agency with the client work and everything, we do everything sometimes like last minute. So like this time I was like, oh wow, we have 4 weeks. We have so much time to plan and like things like that. So I just like, but then I also realized there was like a spring break week. So there's like essentially just 3 weeks. So the first week I was basically just trying to understand the project and like assemble a team. Then the next week I focused on briefing the team and get work like started, do the research, and then get the design of the deck and the copywriting started. And then luckily like Diana has been like so helpful. So we were able to send like a draft presentation of like what we were going through, very informal, just to get some of her feedback. And then coming back from the spring break, we just like finalized it, making sure we hit on the key messages in our scripts, and then just presented it like But luckily, we still had so much time and so much planning. So we didn't really like scramble like we usually do at the end. We were like very relaxed. We were like, oh, Kara was like, oh, let's do like a run through on Tuesday and then do another one on Wednesday. And then that was it. And then we just did the pitch.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That must have been a huge like weight off your shoulders to be at the end there, to rehearse multiple times and make sure you get the timing right, get the cadence right, get your tone right, get all of these things right, because as we know now, like it worked. It was a home run.
Yeah,
frankly,
for sure. Of course we got a little bit stuck at some point, like even though it seems like we have like the structure, we just have to talk about the agency. We just had to make sure all the information flows properly and that it makes sense to Disney advertising sales. And I think that part was like the biggest struggle. And at the same time, like our expertise is Gen Z, and then our presentation was very focused on Gen Z, even though we do so many other work in like different industries and like different audiences. So we went through a phase where we were thinking, is this going to be too Gen Z? Is the information flowing properly? And it took it sounds so simple now, but then it took a lot of like brainstorming and like trying to figure out what the right storytelling is at the end, so everything would just like make sense. And it worked out. Disney ad sales really liked it, and they were like on the spot, they were like, okay, after hearing this, we're going to try to give you like tons of projects for you guys to work on, like on the pitch, like during the meeting itself. Nice. And we were just like, what?
Sure you don't want to think about it first? You don't want to rush into a decision? Oh, no. So you talked about how you just talked about how you were hesitant about hammering the Gen Z point, but ultimately you did. So, hindsight's 2020. It seems simple now, but in the moment when there's, forks in the road like that, when you're thinking about the overall strategy that you want to present, there's some hesitancy. Even though you have all the right information, it's still hard to commit to a certain strategy. So what made you confident in pursuing that strategy? And for people in the future who are working, maybe it'll be a pitch, or maybe it'll be just any sort of presentation or any project in general. What sort of reasoning did you rely on to reinforce the thought in your head that no, this is the right thing to do? Yeah.
So like I said, like our presentation was very Gen Z heavy, Gen Z focused, and I was worried, like I said, like it's gonna be too much Gen Z. But at the end of the day, like with a full room of like Gen Z kids like working in the advertising and marketing agency, it's just natural to have the Gen Z narrative and just to keep that, because it is our strength. And I don't think we should just dial it down just because it's too much of it. At the end of the day, what's the most important is to find like a balance and find like a nuance into it. Even though we talked mostly about Gen Z and things like that, and then how like we understand Gen Z and how we can help you with these insights, we did mention that we can still do general market stuff. So at the end of the day, I think we found a way to just balance the two sides while still like focusing mainly on Gen Z. Yeah, it worked out really well. Like the Disney pitch was great fun. Had a good time, and I think the team also had a good time. Actually, we're working on like a little round 2 of the Disney pitch, because Disney ad sales came back to us and they were like, so we want to have your pitch circling around different departments of Disney as well. So they were like, can you record a pitch, and then so that it's like in a format that we can apply it to, like maybe send it to, I don't know, ESPN or like the Disney Parks experience and just different departments. So we're doing a little round 2 this week, actually, as we speak. So
the pitch is going to go to other parts of Disney, and then potentially we'll get projects and things to do from the other parts of Disney as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Just like that. Yeah, we pitched to Disney advertising sales, which they work with like all the brands, almost all the brands of Disney. But then there's still so many departments within Disney that they want the message, they want our capabilities to circle around other departments as well. So maybe they'll also come to us for some projects or to create that talent pipeline that I was mentioning about. That'll be really exciting. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, brother, dude, that's so exciting. By the way, you mentioned the kind of the role that Disney ad sales plays within the greater function of Disney, but can we go a little bit more into detail about what exactly Disney ad sales is? Because there's so many different segments in Disney, and now there's this new one that we're talking about right now, Disney ad sales, which I'm sure if you're not in the ad industry, you've probably never heard of that. So what is that role that plays that they play in Disney, just to give everybody a little bit more context about where we are operating in?
Yeah, for sure. I'll try my best to explain it like in a way that makes sense. It's still hard sometimes to explain things like properly. Got
to get out the graph paper, the whiteboard, put the bullet lines together. Yeah.
So, like what you said, all the brands that you mentioned, like ABC, ESPN, Discovery, Marvel, all that, Disney sales works with all these like sub brands of Disney, and what they do is like usually I would say they would come to maybe Disney, or not Disney, Pixar is like having a new movie, and they would go to Disney ad sales and be like, how do we put this on the market? What kind of ads that we have to create, and what kind of strategy that would help us connect with the audience that we can attract like a lot of interest in the movie. So Disney ad sales is responsible to create that like advertising strategy for the market, and they're also in charge of like getting the ad space and like having putting the ad out there, and sometimes they also help with like the creative part of it. I also know they do a lot of like brand collaborations other than just working with the Disney brands. I think one example is Hulu collaborating with Ford. And basically, I think I saw this little case of like Ford wants to introduce their new car, basically. And then they went to Disney ad sales and be like, oh, we want to show this car to different audiences and things like that. And they'd be like, Hulu would be a good place. And then they basically create these like mini movies as like ads for Ford. And then they placed it on Hulu, and they placed it on different like TV spots, ad spots as well. And for Hulu, what was so interesting is like they want to get people to engage in the ad, so they create some strategy just to maybe if they can pick between two ads, like the audience can pick between whether they want to watch this one or the other one, or if they watch the ad, they can watch one episode of something like ad free. So like just little strategies like that, and they do like what I mentioned, they help the Disney brands to create maybe ads, create strategy to get their products out there, but at the same time they do a lot of like brand partnerships. Brands would come to them and be like, we want to get our product on the Disney brands, and then that would be another work stream, and just things like that. There are so many more I think they work with, but this hopefully this gives a little idea on like this type of work that they do, and like how they operate within Disney.
It's so crazy that Disney's so big that one of their businesses is advertising. Yeah. Disney in part is an advertising agency. Yeah. That's crazy because they have access to all these brands, all these different channels, through all these different types of media. Like, yeah, if you're a big brand, then hey, you want to get your brand out there to a lot of people. Yeah. There's Disney with all their ESPN channels, all their ABC channels, all their different brands that you can do collaborations with, all these things that you can just work with. It's crazy that Disney has this whole side that normal consumers had really never see, but that's an important part of their business. Exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, that's Disney advertising sales. They do so many different work, but I think it relates very well to what our members are interested in the advertising industry. So I think a lot of good projects are going to come in, hopefully, that like will help all of us like enhance our skill sets and like experience and things like that.
So just to kind of wrap up this topic here, what do you think? What do you think is the future? What's on the horizon for the New Biz team at the agency? Like we're working with Disney right now, and we're contracting with Disney right now. That whale is still being processed. That's a huge win that we just had. Yeah. Are there any other companies, any other brands that you have left on your new biz hit list to kind of reach out and try to do business with, or is there anything on the horizon that maybe we can look forward to with the agency?
Yeah, for sure. That's something definitely that we're working on right now as a new biz team. I think sometimes like it sounds like we just like do a lot of pitches and like things like that, but at the same time, a lot of them is just they come to us and they'll be like, oh, we want agency to do this and we want the agency to do that. So a lot of the clients that are coming in right now, they're of that nature, and they come in at like such like unexpected times. Like for me, sometimes the conversation can last for like 2 months, 3 months, or even more. And then sometimes it can even be like such a short time thing within like one conversation, and they'll be like, we want to work at the agency. But one thing I'm like working on with my team is like for us to start initiating all those conversations and all those pitches. I know a lot of the people at the agency want to work in entertainment and some in like the PR and things like that. So we're trying to target, like we don't have specific names of like companies that we're aiming for, but we're trying to look for like, again, connection with like Gator grads, like alumni and things like that, and then try to initiate some conversation in the industries that the agency members are interested in. But right in terms of like pipeline, like coming in, we still want to aim for some of the clients that we worked for, like Uber, Amazon. Like now that we have like the new social listening tool coming in, we really want to get back with like Amazon, Alexa. And then we were in conversation with T-Mobile about potentially doing a project, but that was like kind of put on hold. So hopefully in like the next couple months we can collaborate with T-Mobile and start something. So definitely a lot of like big companies that we're aiming for sure, but at the same time we want to have like a diverse like set of like experience for like the people as well. It doesn't have to be like a big company with a big name. We also work with like smaller companies that could be more local, like the Bartram, and that would also be very valuable. I know I kind of like ran in like a circle about what we're aiming for, but I don't have concrete names, but this is some of the pipeline or some of the work streams that we have at New Biz.
No, great answer. A great trained PR answer for my question. Okay. Love to see it. Okay, Cherie, you have a topic that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
So can you please set it up? What is it, and what are we going to be talking about?
Yeah, for sure. So if you guys don't, of course I didn't mention this, like some of the agency members would know, I am actually an international student. I am not from the US, and I moved here from Hong Kong when I was 19 to start my college education. So the topic I want to explore is just like what it's like moving to another country and try to like start your career in a different place, like the challenges, the triumphs, and like things like that. Does that sound good?
Oh, that sounds amazing.
I think like I like to take it in like different parts. The first part would be like, what is it like moving by myself to a new country, to a place that I have no idea like where it is and like what it's about, to like how I start finding my track and finding my path here. So just to start with, again, I moved here when I was 19 after I graduated high school, and UF was very generous to offer me scholarship to attend UF, which is something that's like amazing, because for like an international to get like scholarship at like a US or like a foreign institution in general is really hard. So when I was small, like when I was around like 14, 15, I've always wanted to study in the US, and I told my mom, hey, like I want to study in the US, and my mom would be like, it's too expensive, it's like I don't want to be like in debt after, I don't want to make my parents go to debt for like my education. So when UF came through with like a generous scholarship, it's just an opportunity that I cannot give up. Because it's just so like valuable and rare. So I came to the US, and then I tried to do like a lot of research about like the place. Like I've been to the US like once or twice before, before moving here, but it was like when I was younger and I was in like California, which is like a completely different place. And then I was trying to do research on particularly Florida and what's going on there. And I just see so many articles about like a Florida man, Florida woman doing some like crazy thing. And I was like, this is where I'm going. I'm going to the state where there's a lot of like crazy people.
I'm sure Bob loved that. Oh, you're gonna put me in debt and you're gonna go to this place of crazy people? Cherie, sit down.
Like, there's just like some weird stories. Like maybe my algorithm was already like, I clicked on too many of them, and then they keep showing me like Florida man fighting alligator or something.
So the Florida man experience. What? Yes. Talk us through what led you to come here specifically.
Yeah, so I've always known UF has like a great program, like communications program, and I'm really interested in like the media and things like that. Like I didn't exactly know I was going into like marketing and advertising, like what the agency does, but I was just very drawn to like the different experiences that you can get with the J School. So ultimately I just decided with the scholarship, it was just like a natural calling, I would like to say. And then it was just Florida. And then I was just taking my flight to come here. And then that was like really exciting. And then now I think about it, it was like crazy. Like I don't know anything about like Florida or like Gainesville at all. I could have just like landed in the middle of nowhere and I wouldn't know where to go. And then, yeah, I landed in Gainesville, August 2019. And then just started my journey from there.
Are your parents still in Hong Kong, or are they here? They're in Hong Kong
I have no family in the U.S. Like all of them, most of them are in Hong Kong. They work there and things like that. And then it's just some relatives maybe in like the UK and places like that, more like Europe. But in the U.S., I didn't know anybody. So coming was like kind of crazy. My parents were trying to find somebody that were living in Florida that they know. So my mom was like, oh, there's this person maybe you can get like connect to who's like living in Florida. But then at the end of the day, it was just I never got connected to that person. I just like figured everything out, like tried to figure everything out by myself.
Cherie, you're a certified badass. Man, coming here at 19 and coming to UF scholarship, getting Disney, man, you're popping off left and right. That's really admirable that you flew halfway across the world, the entire world, to a completely different continent to pursue your dreams, to pursue your dream. Your dream was to study in the U.S. and you're doing it, and you left your comfort zone. That really speaks to like this pioneering spirit that I just love seeing in people, and it makes me think, man, I grew up 4 hours away from here.
4 hours is still some distance.
It's some distance, sure, but how long was the flight from Hong Kong?
I took 3 flights, so it was like
3?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was like, because I think based on like how the Earth is structured, Hong Kong is like Florida. Hong Kong's closer to California, but if you're talking about Florida, which is like the other side of the U.S., makes it like Hong Kong and Florida is like complete opposite sides of the world. So I have to travel like,
you moved as far away as possible from your home.
I wasn't thinking about that. I was just like, U.S., but then I didn't think about like Florida is like literally the like furthest point from Hong Kong, probably.
It is daylight here. It is nighttime.
Yes.
In Hong Kong, where you came from. That is. Yeah, like we thinking about the map like that. Yeah, we have some sort of. Oh yeah, this state is over here. This country is over here. It's about hours, flight, whatever. But you think about the curvature of the Earth, and it's literally like right beneath our feet is something else, something completely different. Man, 3 flights, and me comparing that to my 4-hour drive. Man, I mean My parents are like, no, don't leave. Don't leave. And sometimes I get homesick, but I can just go whenever I want and drive right down I-75, visit home,
Yeah.
you know, whenever I want. But you can, and I hope I'm not like bringing up any not to make this sad or anything, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just I'm saying all this to just hype you up, because that's so, it can't be understated how courageous that is, how inspiring that is.
That's crazy. But I was so tired with like the long flights after like 2 times, because I came here like the first time, and then I got to go back, like it was like before COVID. It was the December before COVID, and I got to fly back, and I was so tired of these flights and like such like long hours. And I told my parents, oh, like maybe next like Christmas I would not come back, just because like I'm so tired of these. And then my parents were looking at me like, are you serious right now? You live like halfway across like the world and you're not gonna come back to see us? And then COVID happened either way, and then changed everything. I haven't been back to Hong Kong since 2019 December.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So It has been quite a while. It's a huge, like, definitely learning curve, like, because it's like the first time I'm living like not only like so far away from home, but living like by myself here. It's definitely like a huge challenge, and a lot of like different things that I tried to like learn along the way. Some like struggles, but at the end of the day, it was like it happened for like a good time, I would say.
Man, so what are some, you were talking about differences earlier. So what are some of the fun differences, the serious differences? Like what was the learning curve like?
Yeah, for sure. If we talk about differences, Hong Kong is a big city. Like it's not like a super huge city, but it's like a city with like, if you go there, it's just tall buildings, like super tall buildings. So one of the big shock coming here is definitely the space that is here. Like the buildings in Hong Kong are so close to each other. They're like one right after another. But here it's like there can be a one little short building here, and then another one that's like way down the street and things like that. And then the tallest building here, I know, is like Beatty Towers with like 14 floors or something.
Yeah.
we have some buildings that go up to like 100 something floors. So that's like huge difference. Like I can see the sky so clearly every day now. Like I'm not like looking up and I see like tall buildings covering everything. The weather is definitely really good. Of course, there's still some similarities, like both places, Hong Kong and Florida, in this like kind of tropical, humid zone. But Hong Kong, when it rains like for like a long time. Oof. So like, and then sometimes like the days are sunny, but it's not as sunny as here. So those are the things I really appreciate, like the weather. Sometimes it's too hot. I feel like it's very hot, but still like the weather with like how clear the skies are, just very simple things like that I'm very grateful for. I think some of the more like serious differences is like the transportation. I don't have a car here, so I think it's like kind of difficult to go like to different places sometimes, because in Hong Kong we have it's a city and we have a very good public transportation system, so I could basically go anywhere anytime that I want, and I can reach every single part of the city. But here we have the buses, but the buses run mostly to like UF, and if I want to go somewhere during the weekend, it's just harder. So I think that's one of the biggest differences. Of course, like the prices different, but not like too big of a problem or anything like that.
So just to, take a more reflective tone now, I want to just ask, like, how's the experience been? Has it been worth it? Has it been everything that you thought it would be? Do you think you made the right choice? You know, like, I'm just really curious, because this is, you're doing something that is way bigger than any decision I ever had to make in my life. So I'm curious about what where your mindset is at right now.
Yeah, I definitely think it's like 100% worth it. Like no regrets at all. Like the experiences that I'm getting here, the opportunities that I'm gonna get is definitely like one of a kind. Of course, like when people think about like moving, it's just like, oh, you're like you're just like developing your career or studying or whatever. But there are so many small little steps that come along in the way that I consider them like little triumphs that I would not forget. Like in the 2 years span that I've stayed here, 2 years and a little bit more, I learned how to drive and I got my driver's license. That's one thing. I like managed to get like some jobs on campus, and then open my social security account and things like that. Even though they're very like logistical and boring, they're small steps that shows that I'm progressing and like assimilating into the country. At the same time, like getting a driver's license is just like so big. I was like so excited when I got my driver's license and I could like rent a car and like drive around and things like that. And then in terms of like the experience, like definitely like for my career, I think it's way better that I'm here than I am in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is like have great opportunities over there, but they're very finance based. Like it's a very businessy city in that way. So here in the US, you can go, there are so many states and there are so many different companies that I can work with that I think is very valuable. And of course, like with the agency, it's just like that. I feel like here at this rate, I'm like top of the top. Like being in here at the agency and working with like new clients, they're like real world, and then you can apply your skills. I think it's just like super valuable, and I really, really enjoyed the whole experience so far.
That's great. I'm so happy that it's been worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm so happy that because I asked you that question and I was thinking, I hope she doesn't answer. Oh, it's been terrible. No, thankfully.
Yeah, for sure. There are things that I like miss for sure.
Of
like
course.
Transportation is one of them, definitely. Food is another one that I really miss.
Uh-huh.
But I was like lucky enough that I got to travel like a little bit around to like other cities, to like Chicago and like New York and things like that, and got to, I think, experience like the same level of like quality in terms of food. So I'm very, very happy about that. Like coming here, I realized I'm just like, I grew up in a city and I need to be in a city. So even though I really like UF, I really like the experience, sometimes like I just want to get out. And in the US, there are just so many places you can see that's like worth it.
Yeah, I just want to ask, how was your first night? What was your first night like? And then waking up the next morning here.
Oof. I think I was just really, really excited. I was like, I'm going to like watching so many like movies about like colleges and universities of the US growing up. It's just like I came here the first night, I was just like, I can't believe I'm here. Like this is like crazy. I was so quick. Like I stayed in like the dorm. I stayed in like Simpson Hall, if anybody knows it.
Shout out Simpson Hall.
Yeah. And then I was so excited. I just decorated my room right away.
Uh-huh.
And then I went like shopping of pillows and like not mattress, like the cover for the mattress and things like that, and just so excited to get it going and get it like all started. So but then I was like super tired from like my very, very long trip as well, so I just like crashed right away. And then I think it was rainy. It was like raining the first week that I was here, but I just remember feeling very high energy and just like having a lot of motivation to get this like new journey started and just see what it's like living in the US, like studying in like a university of like this size. And then after that nights, it was just, my first semester was like really fun. I would say I had a lot of fun and things like that. But then of course, like with COVID, it changed everything. And then like sometimes I do miss home, and then that becomes like a little bit of like a struggle. But at the end of the day, generally I have like a really positive energy, and I try to do different things. So that's my mentality when I was like coming here, just be like active and like try to go to different places and like things like that. So yeah, that was how like my first night and like the other nights went by. And now like I'm at this stage that like I'm gonna be going into my senior year soon and just finishing it off.
Yeah, I like asking people about their first nights, because when you have sleep is one of those things that are, anchors in our day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Waking up, a shower, if you're showering, shower people out there, and then going to sleep, like there are things that, our days are bookended by these things, and then when you have, this sleep, but then it's taking place now in a completely different country. It's taking place in a different city. It's taking place in just a different place altogether. And it's like, it's beautiful how, like, we're experiencing the same thing, like everybody goes to sleep the same way. Everybody lays down, closes their eyes. I haven't heard of any horse people that sleep standing up. we lay down, we close our eyes. We're all experiencing the same thing, but now it's in a different place. So I know whenever I go on long trips, like I'll go on vacation, coming back, it's like, and I lay down, I just noticed the Hong Kong sticker on your laptop. Yeah. That's cool. Nice. Yeah. So I come back from a long trip, go to sleep. It's like, wow, I'm ending my day the way that I ended my day yesterday. Yeah. But now it's in a completely different place. Exactly. And when we're talking about first nights, that's like, that is an important sleep. That's an important first night, because then that sets the tone. That sets the tone. My first sleep here, my first night when I moved out from my parents, was really late, because we had my parents, they came, they helped me move, they left. My roommate's mom was here helping him. Then she went to a hotel, and then we had friends over, and we stayed up till like 2 a.m. just talking. And then they left for whatever reason, and said, now it's a great time to clean my bathroom. So I like bleached my entire bathroom at like 2:30 in the morning. Like, oh great. But then I put my head down, and I went to sleep, and I'm laying there in bed like I was just in Naples, Florida 24 hours ago. Sleeping just like how I am right now. Yeah. But when I wake up tomorrow, it's going to be completely different.
Yeah, you had like lots of energy for your first night as well. You're talking about like hanging out with friends, and I'm like, at 2 a.m. you were like, I'm going to bleach my bathroom.
Just it's funny how the when things are new, it's just go. Go.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other things that you wanted to say about your experience? You were going to say something before I rudely cut you off with my question that I forgot.
Yeah, no worries. So I can just speak a little bit about like building like a career in the U.S. in like a different country. It's just like very, very different. And at the end of the day, no matter like where you go, if you go to like a foreign country that's like not of your nationality, you're gonna face struggle in trying to like get jobs and like trying to assimilate there and things like that. And right now, like approaching end of junior year, going into senior year, one of the biggest like in a way it's a fear, but in a way it's not like I see it as more of like a challenge, a little obstacle, is to get hired in the US. That's definitely one of the next big steps, especially in the marketing and advertising agency, where I want to work at agencies that are kind of doing the same thing. Is definitely really hard, because they would be more hesitant to hire you just because that you would require sponsorship and things like that. And that definitely can bum me down or bum a lot of people down a lot, especially knowing that like maybe it's not because you don't have enough experience and things like that, but it's just because there's this little paperwork that like blocks you from potentially getting all these opportunities. But at the same time, I understand it's just something that I believe I have to get through and try to act smart and find like the companies that have the capacity to hire maybe international students and things like that, to like keep moving forward. I think one of the biggest struggle maybe in the industries or companies is one, like hiring and sponsoring visas is very expensive. And at the same time, second, I feel like there's a lot of there's like the lack of information of what it's like to hire international students as well at some companies, because right now like I do not need any sponsorship. Like I would need sponsorship after like 1 year after I graduate. So I feel like sometimes like as now I'm also trying to apply for like opportunities somewhere else, like internships and things like that. Like I do see that like some employers are more like hesitant, even for like an internship opportunity, just because of like the status, which is sometimes heartbreaking, but you just have to kind of see it in different ways.
How has the search gone for you? Do you have any internship opportunities coming up for you over the summer? Or
Yeah, so I'm still in the progress of doing like a lot of it. Like I have like several that's in like the process of interviewing. So this week I'm like interviewing like almost every day at like different companies and agencies. But I did get like, it's heartbreaking sometimes, like use this word a lot, because I had a really great conversation with one of the talent recruiters like maybe 1 week, 2 weeks ago. And then she was very confident that we want to move you forward and have you speak with these other people and have like a second interview and things like that. But then as we were trying to schedule it, and she had more internal conversations about my visa status and everything. Like she was really nice. She just called me and say, hey, even we might not be able to, we just want to let you know we might not be able to extend this to like a full-time offer after the internship because of your visa status. We would not be able to sponsor you. And when I applied, I knew it. But I just want to try to get an internship. But I was like, I forgot sometimes these internships, they're looking for people to hire afterwards. Yeah. So they were really keeping that in mind. And she was like, we just want to let you know that, and we don't want to like limit you to this like opportunity. There might be other places who might be able to hire international students, but as of right now, we just don't. So I'm not sure if it's worth moving forward with this like opportunity. But I was just like, let's just see how it goes, right? So I still send her the times, and then she said she was gonna schedule it, but at the end, like they decided against it either way. Like she was like, I believe this would just be like a heartbreak on both sides, because I really like you and I think you will fit well here, but then at the end of the day, if we cannot hire you at the end, like it just won't work well for like the company, it won't work well for me. So that was like a really when I hear it, I was like, I knew it, but at the same time, it was just kind of heartbreaking, because I know some companies, they might want to hire some international students, but there's just that barrier there that they might not be able to pull through and like be able to do it of like funds and everything. So yeah, there are just like things like that in my internship process, but I know it's gonna happen. But at the end of the day, I just try to like go for whatever opportunity I can and just see how it goes. Like there's one that works out this way, there might be another one that work out better, and they might have more capabilities, and they might have more desire to hire international kids.
So what advice would you give to other international students who are going through the same kind of experience that you're going through, or maybe they're having a hard time finding internships or jobs because of this, because of their visa status, and then apart from that, just assimilating in general, making working through life here? What advice would you have for them?
I think one very important thing to like, in terms of like assimilating, maybe one day you want to move to another country, no matter where you go. I think one important thing is to stay active, which is very general advice, but be active, try to talk to the people. Everybody has different experience, and then they have a different way of life, and then different advice on how to manage certain things. Just talk to as many people as possible, interact with them, and then with that, you'll get like support even in a new country that you're not familiar with, like make new friends and like things like that. And then just do a lot of research in general, if it's like not just for assimilating into like a new country, but also for like internships and like careers and all that. Just make sure you're continuously doing the research that is needed and finding the right information. Like the more you know how to not like beat the system, but like pass through the system, or like excel, even though there's like barriers that prevent you from doing so. So I think that's like the biggest takeaway. Like stay active, like in a way talk to people, like learn from other people, at the same time like try different experiences. I know like now that I found the agency and it's like I think it's the right place for me, I joined quite a few random organizations before I came to find the agency and got to work here. So just continue to try different things. so you can learn different areas and find your passion, talk to different people, learn from their experiences, and just do your research, like, and just go for different opportunities. Like, the great thing about my internship application process is just like I try to read to make sure they hire international people or there's no restrictions. That's the first, and just try to apply for so many different roles that like that might be of your interest, because you in this early on in your career you just never know. So yeah, that's what I would say to do.
Cherie, wise words, dropping truth bombs, popping off everywhere. The Cherie episode. That's probably what I'm gonna call this episode. Just great stuff. It was really great doing this. It's been a hell of a ride. We're going on a little over an hour 20 right now. Yeah, that's surprising. Did it feel like an hour 20?
No, it did not.
That just flew by, right?
Yeah,
that's great.
Just vibing out here.
Yeah, I love getting people who. Most people at the agency have not ever recorded podcasts before, so it's always great, sharing this experience. Like, oh, I was been there, and everybody's always the same. Like, oh, it's already been that long. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, but no, this was great. Cherie, are you active on social media? Do you want people to follow you, interact with you?
I am more active on like Twitter, like where I do my ESPN coverage of like different sports. Additional information, I am a sports reporter with ESPN Gainesville right now, so if you want some sports coverage you can follow me there and check out some of my articles on the website as well. But yeah,
I did not know that you did ESPN reporting. Yeah, I think our next episode is going to be about we're going to be talking some sports.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the account that you do the is it just ESPN?
So for like personal in-game coverage is Chick_Cherie, and then you'll find sometimes when I go to games I'll do live coverage of the sports, and then if you want to read the stories of the games that I covered you can go on the website ESPN Gainesville or just look up my name, you'll probably find it.
Cherie Chick on ESPN Gainesville. How's that? That's a good ring to it. This is Cherie Chick reporting for ESPN Gainesville. That sounds awesome. That's great. Oh man, yeah. So on the internet you can find some of the things that I write on my Medium blog, medium.com/@AnthonyBonet. I write things about video games and short stories. Sometimes I really need to update that soon before people just begin to realize that it's just the same thing. And then I make games sometimes. I run the Game Developers Association. You can find some of my games at anthony-bonet.itch.io. And remember that you can find this show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and you can find the video version on YouTube. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, give high ratings, we'd much appreciate that. That really helps us get discovered and helps grow this community that we have here. We want as many people as possible to hear what Cherie has to say. Don't put her down. Let's get out there.
Like the excitement, yeah.
That good?
That was good.
Good. Follow the agency on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. The agency at UF. Some of those require you to put an @ in front. Some of those don't. The agency at UF at all of our social channels. That's where you get updates on the podcast. We put clips that tease the following episode the day before. So you're listening to this, maybe you saw the teaser clip for this episode. Of course, you can also click the flow code link in the episode description and find everything that the agency does on there. This has been Cherie Chick. On the other side, I've been your host, Anthony Bonet, and until next time, we'll see ya.
See ya. Bye. Thanks, y'all.